Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We are back at it with Monday Night Raw, and no shocker to everybody, this show sucked. This show did. This show sucked. There was literally maybe nothing good. But then again, I always say the women always outshine these shows. But the fact that we get to see the same women every single week, it kind of changes my tune, because the women's division really sucks. There are some women I do enjoy, such as Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, Asuka, Peyton Royce. You know, I enjoy some of these women. But the fact is that this women's division is so bad, I just can't. I just can't. So, the show began with Randy Orton. He came out and, they're making it very, it's very confusing on who they're making the face and the heel here against Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. Honestly, excuse me. Honestly, in my personal opinion, it should be Randy Orton as the face and Bray Wyatt as the heel, but it seems like they're now going with Bray Wyatt as the face in this story, which is kind of weird, and it really shouldn't be. But Randy came out. He was looking to invite himself in the Firefly Funhouse. Bray Wyatt said that Alexa Bliss wasn't on the show because she was terrified. She was scared. She got terrified of what Randy Orton did to her last week. Yep. The vulnerability, the weakness of the Fiend decided to cower in fear because of what Randy did to her last week. Alexa Bliss is the Fiend's weakness, confirmed. If she wasn't his weakness, if she was not the Fiend's weakness, she would have rocked up on Raw being okie dokie with it, She'd be all okay, She'd be all okay. She'd be at Raw. She'd be like, I'm not the Fiend's weakness. But clearly that she's hiding in fear because of what Randy did to her, that clearly tells me Alexa Bliss is the Fiend's weakness. But Randy ends up challenging Bray to a match, and Bray accepts. And they also did some kind of, and Bray kind of did some kind of, game thing. It's just really weird. Kind of made me laugh a little, but it was pretty bizarre. And nobody won the game show. It was definitely a lot better than, it was definitely a lot more enjoyable than that one that Matt Riddle did on NXT, the Newly Bros show. Bray Wyatt's little show was definitely a lot better than that. So the first match we had was Asuka facing off against Shayna Baszler. Apparently this was a first time ever, even though they faced each other in the Elimination Chamber. And they're saying about how Shayna Baszler is starting to become frustrated and become more aggressive. And they're saying, and they mentioned that, oh, well, look what she did, look what she's done when she's really angry. Like, look what she did to Becky Lynch. Look what she did in the Elimination Chamber. Listen, ever since Shayna Baszler lost to Lana, I'm not taking Shayna Baszler seriously. I said this before. If you lose to Lana, I can't take you seriously. So Shayna Baszler trying to be all, I'm so angry. Instead of, trying to be all angry and mad, it doesn't change the fact that this woman lost to Lana. So Nia Jax and Lana were at ringside in this match. And I will admit, I will hold my hand up and I will admit, Nia and Lana did have a good spot on the outside when the outside interferences did happen. I will raise my hand up and I will say it was pretty cool. Nia went for a powerbomb, but Lana was able to reverse it into a Hurrcanruna, sending Nia careening into the announce table. I will say, that was impressive. Other than that, nothing else about Lana impressed me. Good job, Lana. You did one thing that actually impressed me. But that doesn't change the fact that you still suck. And because of Lana's interference and taking out Nia Jax, this distracted Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler's too busy screaming and yelling at Lana, which led to Asuka rolling up Shayna Baszler and successfully pinning Shayna Baszler. 3 losses in a row for the self-proclaimed biggest threat on Monday Night Raw. Seriously, give me a goddamn break. If Shayna Baszler is such a serious threat... Oh, what happened to the Shayna Baszler that beat Bayley 4 times in a row, huh? Where's that Shayna Baszler? Where's the Shayna Baszler that made Bayley tap out 4 times in a row? Where's that Shayna Baszler gone? It seems like that Shayna Baszler has tucked her tail between her legs and has decided to run away. Shayna Baszler is not a threat anymore. If Lana, Liv Morgan, and Asuka can beat her, and Becky Lynch, obviously Becky Lynch can beat her, but we're not going to count Becky in this situation. If those 3 women can beat Shayna Baszler, she's not a threat. She's not a threat. She's not a threat anymore. I am not taking Shayna Baszler seriously anymore. I can't take her seriously anymore. Oh, she beat Bayley 4 times. Yeah, who gives a shit? Yeah, who gives a shit she did? Doesn't change the fact that doesn't change anything. Shayna Baszler sucks. And nothing is changing my mind about it. Not taking her seriously. We had Ricochet and Dana Brooke take on Shane Thorne and Mia Yim, or Slapjack and Reckoning, what they want us to call them. And honestly, I was kind of surprised Ricochet and Dana Brooke won, because I thought maybe they were going to give, Retribution their win back. I thought maybe Mia Yim was going to get her win back here, but nope. Mia Yim suffers yet another loss on Monday Night Raw. She's now 0-2. She's now lost 2 matches in a row. And this is honestly why look, I really enjoyed the Retribution stuff when it first started. But honestly, I just like with Shayna Baszler, I don't know if I should take them seriously. I don't know if I should really take them seriously. Like, they're supposed to be this scary stable that is supposed to be exposing WWE. Basically, the stuff they're complaining about is basically what's happening to them. The stuff that the characters, the storyline of their characters is basically complaining about what's happening to them. So it's basically, yeah, we're being treated like shit. And that's exactly what's happening to us on television. So, Mia Yim lost again. Dana Brooke plants her with a really good looking move. Dana Brooke is really a good wrestler. I don't understand how anybody can not look at Dana Brooke and say she's not good at all. She's just a pretty face with blonde hair, as I hear a lot of people say. Oh, she's just a girl with long blonde hair. She's not that good. Yeah, Dana is really good. And you know what? I would rather see Dana Brooke versus Mia Yim every single week, because at least Mia Yim and Dana Brooke are actually solid wrestlers, and I can actually enjoy their stuff. At least I can actually enjoy watching these 2 wrestle. Women like Shayna Baszler and Lana, they just make me want to vomit. And I just do not want to watch. So Dana Brooke pins Mia Yim, and her and Ricochet get the win, and Mustafa Ali is angry again. He's angry at Mia Yim, and he's mad at Shane Thorne. He's mad at both of them for losing. Yeah, so he's just really mad. And we've got Matt Riddle, who WWE just doesn't seem to listen to us when we tell WWE to not let Matt Riddle talk. It seems like to them, they're like, oh, you don't want us to do something? Well, we're gonna do it. Matt Riddle is running around with his bro nuts. Bro nuts. He's running around with bro nuts. He's got like these little donuts and he calls them bro nuts. Please, take your bro nuts and stick them right up your bros. You can take those bro nuts and stick them right up your bros. That's all I'm saying about Matt Riddle and his bro nuts. So we had Kofi Kingston versus Shelton Benjamin. He would beat Shelton Benjamin, but then he would face Cedric Alexander. And I gave the Hurt Business a new name on Twitter today, and I called them the Butt Hurt Business. And they really lived up to that name, Butt Hurt. Because they were butthurt that Shelton, they were so butthurt that Shelton lost and they demanded a rematch. Butthurt Business. Perfect name. Perfect name for a bunch of guys that I don't give a shit about. So Cedric ended up beating Kofi. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo, I do not care. AJ Styles and Miz and Morrison faced off against Drew McIntyre and Sheamus in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Styles and Miz and Morrison won. Sheamus accidentally bro-kicked Drew McIntyre, which led to AJ Styles delivering a phenomenal forearm to Sheamus to get the win. That's really what happened there. And I want to mention this real quick. I'm kind of done with Miz and Morrison as a team. Like, I'm kind of over it now. It's run its course. Like, don't get me wrong, Miz and Morrison, they've had some funny moments. Like, correct! They've had some funny moments with the correct! And the hey, hey, ho, ho, Miz and Morrison, hey, hey, ho, ho. You know, like, they had some pretty funny moments. But I'm done with it. I'm done with them as a team. I want The Miz to fail his Money in the Bank cash in. I want him to cash in his briefcase and fail, and then he can put the blame all on John Morrison. That's all I really want to have happen at this point. I'm tired of it. I'm over it. I'm over Miz and Morrison as a team. I'm over them as a team, and we all should be. They announced Lana to go one-on-one with Nia Jax next week. And this is the Go Home show. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to be telling me, oh, Patrick, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, they're going to win at TLC because Asuka and Lana, you know, they've beaten Nia and Shayna the past 3 weeks. No. Next week determines who wins. Next week. Whoever wins out of Lana and Nia Jax next week on Raw confirms who wins at TLC. If Nia Jax defeats Lana, which I am expecting her to do because it's Nia Jax. Nia Jax should not be losing to Lana. Hey, I said the same thing about Shayna. I said the same thing. If you lose to Lana, why should I take you seriously? If Nia ends up losing to her, I'll do the same thing. But I know Nia isn't going to lose to Lana next week. And that's why I still believe Asuka and Lana will win the titles at TLC because Nia will destroy Lana. Nia will destroy Lana next week. And Shayna Baszler will do her shtick, her little karafuda, her little shtick on Asuka, and they'll end up standing tall on the Go Home show. And that will ultimately tell us Asuka and Lana will win at TLC. Next week. And for Christ's sake, I need people to understand this and listen to me. Next week, what happens on the go-home shows before these pay-per-views always determines what happens. Whatever happens on Raw next week tells you who is winning at the pay-per-view. I don't want anyone telling me, but they beat Nia and Shayna 3 times. They should still lose because they beat them 3 times. No, what happens next week determines who wins at TLC. And that's the final time I'm going to tell people that. Because I get a few people, not a lot of people know this, but I get a few people always telling me this. They're always like, but so-and-so beat so-and-so this amount of times before the pay-per-view, so so-and-so should still win. No. If Nia beats Lana next week, Asuka and Lana win. And if Lana miraculously, somehow, some way, defeats Nia Jax next week, then Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler win at TLC. That's how it works. It doesn't work 3 weeks before the pay-per-view. It always determines things right before the pay-per-view. That's the final time I'll ever tell this to people, and to some of you people. And if you still do not get it, then I'm not going to bother explaining it again. So we had Bobby Lashley face off against Jeff Hardy. MVP tried to interfere, and Matt Riddle and his bro nuts. Please, take your bro nuts and stick them right up your bros and get out of here. And, so Riddle tried to help out Jeff Hardy, but ultimately lost. Jeff Hardy ultimately lost to Bobby Lashley. Because you can't have Bobby Lashley lose, right? Can't have Bobby Lashley lose, right? Whatever. Also, Sheamus and Drew had a big brawl. They beat up some Pat Buck guy. Pat Buck, I do remember him. I think Nia did something with him earlier this year. As well. So, me recognizing him made me realize, hey, that was the same guy that Nia Jax beat up a couple of times. So yeah. So that whole situation happened. So we had Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt in the main event. This match did not have a winner because the Fiend appeared out of nowhere. I don't know how the hell Bray Wyatt, because you could see what Bray Wyatt is wearing. He's got a brown shirt on and black pants on. I don't understand how the hell, when the lights go out, I don't understand how the hell he can quickly put on his mask, quickly put his gloves on, quickly change his pants to red, quickly put on a black sleeved singlet, in that quick amount of time. I don't know how the hell Bray Wyatt does it. I really don't. I really don't know how he does it. But either way, there was no winner, and the Fiend emerged and put the claw on Randy Orton to seal the end of the show. Alexa Bliss is still your weakness, buddy. And I will continue to say it because I know it is true. My boy Randy Orton is never wrong. My boy Randy Orton is never wrong. Bray Wyatt's last weakness was the Wyatt family compound and sister Abigail. And that's what led to Bray Wyatt's downfall. Randy is never wrong. And Alexa Bliss is going to be the reason that's going to lead to the Fiend's eventual downfall. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for you guys on this Monday Night Raw review. Yes, another terrible show. What else is new? If you guys did enjoy this review, hit that thumbs up. subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate that as well. And I'll see you all next time.